a message about who he was to be. A storyteller, if you will. A character, if you will. Somewhat like me. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Laka Bridges, and I will be your MC for this journey today. So let's go ahead and give a round of applause for the celebration we're about to have. Today, we are here to celebrate and acknowledge a journey. And as we all know, just like that real small story I began to tell you, that journeys take you somewhere. Journeys are exciting. Journeys have what we know as a beginning, a middle, and an end. We also know journeys are filled with highs and lows and many twists and turns between. Oh, we all go through life, and a lot of times we call this life a journey. But there are other types of journeys and adventures we take as we go through this journey called life. Today, we're going to hear about a very, very special young man's journey to becoming a character that we'd all like to know and become familiar with. Oh man, we ain't never had a friend like him. Oh, who am I talking about? Does anybody know? Oh, okay. I'm sorry, maybe you don't understand. See, I'm a storyteller, and the way I work is I need a little audience participation. So when I say, we ain't never had a friend like him, who am I talking about? Yes. I'm talking about Major Attaway, a genie. The genie on Broadway, y'all. Let's give it to our very own homegrown talent. That's who we're talking about today. So we're here to show honor and respect to our very own Major Attaway from Fort Worth. Yes. This program also gives credit to some amazingly talented teachers, musical and acting directors who were part of the village who assisted Major in developing his God-given talent. So kids, you being here, oh, this is so important. You being here today is all about providing support and encouragement to reach your dreams, just like he did. Whatever your dreams may be, okay? So, we truly believe that you can do it if you see it. If you think it and believe it, you can be it. You just have to work hard and go after what's already in your heart. Because you know what's true. Nobody else can tell you that. You gotta go with what's inside of you. Can I get a thumbs up on that? All right, say that. Yes, that's true. Wonderful. So if you agree with me, make some noise. So before we get right into the program, let's have a few words from Principal Brown of this beautiful school that we're in today. Okay? And then we're going to hear from our current president of Fort Worth ISD School Board and current representative of District 5. We should be hearing from Toby Jackson. Okay? So let's go ahead and give them a round of applause as they make their way here.
Good morning. So my name is Baldwin Brown, and I am the principal here at Terri, and it is an absolute pleasure to have you all here this morning. There is nothing like having homegrown talent come back and really share what they're doing. But for those that are not familiar, Terri has a great legacy, and we're very fortunate to have a facility like this where we can host some of our homegrown talent. Our vision here at I Am Terrell is to create a learning environment that will develop and nurture artistic talent, creative thinkers, and innovative problem solvers who will go on and change the global landscape for generations to come. And this morning we are really blessed to have one of those homegrown talents that are coming back. He has gone out and he is changing the global landscape, and we at I Am Terrell are looking forward to producing the next major Attaway. We're very excited to see all the young faces in the audience, because we always knew that Fort Worth had a lot of talent. And we're very excited here at I Am Terrell, and really in the city of Fort Worth, to now have a school where those talents can be developed and nurtured. So on behalf of the I Am Terrell staff, on the behalf of our district and our superintendent, we want to welcome you all here to our campus, and we look forward to a great show and introduction from Major Attaway. So thank you all for coming out, and we're looking forward to a great show today. Thank you.
All right. How y'all doing this morning? I need a little bit better than good. So let's see, because good is just, I need some to that, because I don't know if you know, but this is a major deal right here. You see what I'm saying? No pun intended, I'm just saying it's just kind of a major deal, okay? So I want to hear, how you doing out here? There we go. All right. This is good. See, y'all gonna give me one to move and dance. All right, so wonderful. We just heard a little bit about Major Attaway and about the community he's come up with. We're in the city of Fort Worth, right? Everybody say Fort Worth. All right, we should be proud of it. Fort Worth. There we go. So wonderful. He's come up here, and all the people that you're going to see that come up here today have been part of an organization or a group that has helped just build him up to who he is and expose him to so many things that a lot of you children out here are being exposed to now. So take advantage of it, all the programs that are there. Let's see, I just want to make sure and see if Toby Jackson is available to come out and speak.
She will be here a little later.
That's no problem. We're going to keep going, and we're going to learn a little bit about when I go like this, I need you to say major. So we're going to learn a little bit about the major way. All right, you're good. You guys are right on time. All right. Well, there is this wonderful gospel musician. And I must say, when you meet a teacher, you know a teacher because they are always and forever a teacher. See, I didn't go like this. When I go like this, that's major. Okay? But let's see. And any of you guys that know sign language, so a teacher. Okay? Now, who I'm speaking of is Mr. Carl Kennerly. Got a chance to meet him backstage, and I've heard quite a bit about this man. But before anything else, he's backstage, and he walks directly to the piano. And just, what does he do? In less than 5 minutes flat, backstage, don't tell him I'm telling you this, backstage, all the children that are in there, he's playing music, and children are starting to come up, mine being included, come up, and he's teaching. Because once you're a teacher, you're always a teacher. That is right. And so that's exactly what he was doing. So this wonderful man has a word for us, and he can tell you a little bit more about who Major was when Major was a little guy and he was one of his teachers. I'll just leave that to him. Let's give him a round of applause.
everyone. Just honored to be a part of this legacy that is really just beginning. I've known Major all his life. I see his grandfather there. He was my Sunday school teacher. I've gone way back with this family. But as I think of this occasion, I think of Major, I remember a interview that Alex Haley had, and he said, as an author, all of your books are like your children. You never know where they're going to go. You never know how they're going to turn out. He thought his big book was going to be the autobiography of Malcolm X, which was fairly a hit. But when he did his genealogy for his family and put that into a book, it blew up and became the most watched miniseries ever to be shown on TV. And as a teacher, it's kind of the same way. Each of your students are like your children. You never know where they're going to go. You never know. You get hints, but some of them leave it, and others go on to do great things. And I remember as at my piano teaching studio, we decided for a summer camp to bring some children in, teach them some songs, and let them go into a recording studio. And that was always so exciting for them. Their eyes would just buck when they would go into the recording studio. And with this first group, where I'm trying to manage all these children, and my sister from Ohio, she came over to me and she pointed to Major, she said, this little guy right here is going someplace. And I'm like, what, who? And she pointed to Major. I knew him, I knew he was a very mature young man, He's always been very aware. He's always had an awareness that most children don't have. Most children, they're just bouncing off the walls. You try to talk to them and they'll give you a little hug, but they're ready to go play. Major was always very people-oriented. He would talk to you as long as you wanted to talk to him on an adult level. So I noticed that, but as far as, I said, well, he's maybe just charmed her a little bit. But she was right. She hit it dead on, and she is on this phone right now. Janie, can you say something to Markel?
Hello. When I first heard you sing, I knew you were going to be special. And I'm so proud of you, and I just love you dearly. Keep up the good work. You're making us proud.
Right, that's my sister. She's the first one to discover it, and I will always have the honor of saying I was the first one to record it. Thank you all very much. Thank you for coming out, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to share something about my man.
No problem. All right, let's give him another round of applause. Yes. So he was one of the first ones besides Major's teacher, okay? And so that's really important because sometimes as parents, we don't realize all of those important little steps because days get long and we get a little tired.
Yeah.
Excuse me for a moment because I'm a little tired. Oh yes, thank you. I need that. So good, yes. So exactly. So he was a fundamental person in Major's life, and as young as I want to say, was it 5 years old? Okay, I think it was about 5 years old. Okay, he was developing his musical and acting talent, and he was getting experience. His first recording experience happened with Mr. Carl Kennerly. So little moments like that might seem little at the time are really a major deal. Oh, you guys got this. I love it. All right, here we go. So we're gonna find out a little bit more about his schooling. Later, Major attended Fort Worth ISD School. So everybody give Fort Worth a round of applause. Fort Worth ISD schools from 1st through 12th grade, starting with Alice Carlson Applied Learning Center. If you're from there, let me hear you. Okay? That's good. All right. Also, Applied Learning Academy on Camp Bowie. Okay. Y'all didn't send out the memo, it sounds like. Okay, here we go. And then Arlington Heights High School. woven into all of the things that he did coming up. It was, as a young guy, he was singing in the youth choir and acting in the fine arts ministry at Como First Missionary Baptist Church. Yes, yes. So I feel like there's some from Como here. Let's feel the love. Let's feel it. Yeah. All right. There's just something about good old Como. All right. So wonderful. It was musicals also. Get ready. This might be a group of you too. At Casa Manana Theater. Okay. And many performances with their ambassador group, Casa Kids. Okay? All right. Okay, so you're seeing what his journey has become. So we have church, we have school, and we have outside community theater group. Notice, this is a village. So, little ones out there, if you've ever heard of the saying, it takes a village to raise a child, raise your hand up in the air. And wave it like you look okay. Okay. Maybe I'm the only one wanting to dance. Okay, all right. So if you've heard that, that's what it means. That it doesn't just take a parent to raise you. It takes teachers. It takes community leaders like pastors and Boys and Girls Club and the YMCA and places like that. Yes. These places help to build up who you are. Okay? So it takes a whole village of people to help you become the young man or the young lady that you are going to become in the future, right? Did I get it right? Did I do the walk? Okay. I just wanted you to feel that. Okay. So here we go. We're going to hear from someone else. Ian Lofton is a 7th grade pre-AP scholar at the Young Men Leadership Academy. All right, we feel that support. There we go. There's that village, you see? All right. And he can certainly understand exactly what Major was going through growing up and being in the arts. Okay? He currently sings with the youth choir at his local church, West Irving Church of God in Christ. There we go. And he loves to create his very own songs. So let's welcome Ian to the stage. Come on up, Brother Ian. We'd love to hear you.
Away behind the water hole, a little down the line, the jungle and its plains and peaks are scheduled to be mine. I'm gonna be the ruler of most everything around, from the highest of the mountains to the humble common ground. My reign will be a super awesome thing. Oh, I just can't wait to be king. I'm gonna be your noble king, unscrupulously fair. I only need a little time, perhaps a little hair. I'm gonna be the main event, like no king was before. I'm brushing up, I'm looking down, I'm working on my roar. The manas and the flora's gonna sleep.
believe in your heart. Everybody say, believe it. Believe it. Okay? You gotta first believe it. See it in your mind and believe it. Then you get to go after it. Say, go after it. Go after it. So if he can't wait to be king, you can't go, yay. He can't wait to be king. You know how huge that is? And I know all of y'all saw, I can't think of that Disney film. You know, there's this Disney film that song came out in. It was a really good Disney film. I mean, they made such great films. Does anybody happen to know what Disney film that was in? Say that a little better than that. That's right, The Lion King. Powerful, wonderful story. And he started out just as a simple cub. Okay, from day one, he was already destined to be king. But he had to believe it. His father had to speak to him to let him know. They had the elders hold him up in front of a whole community and said, this is going to be your king. Do you guys remember that? That's so important because you got to believe it, even though at this time he was a tiny little cub. But you got to know it, and you got to do what? You got to believe that thing. And then you have to work on it. And in that song, there's a part that says he's working on his, was it his purr? His purr? His roar. You don't work on where you're at the moment. You work on where you're trying to be, right? Everybody say, let's work. We got someplace to be. I'm going somewhere. You just watch me. That's right. Now, if anybody want to tell you something, come see me after. All right? All right. So wonderful. Great job, Mr. Ian Lofton. You go ahead and be king. We're behind you all the way. Well, Major was young just like that. And I'm not sure if his voice was just like that, because you know Major has a really nice look. So I'm not sure when he got his roar, but we know when he got his roar, it was a major deal. That's absolutely right. Wonderful. So right now we want to hear from some of the youth choir directors and part of the fine ministry team that Major was a part of coming up. So that takes us right into church. Oh, yes. Everybody, if you've been to church before, say yeah. All right. How you doing? All right. Now I'm ready to introduce them, okay? Because church is where many, many famous people begin their journey. We won't even start talking, but just to name one person like Aretha Franklin. I'm sure you've heard of the late, great, okay? Major is among one of these people where church was a main influence. So youth choir director from then, Bessie Richards, and the drama ministry teacher, Miss Trinell Brown, they were helping him to create beautiful music and performance way back then. So let's give them a round of applause as they come and talk about that thing.
First of all, I'm so glad to be here. I'm just like in awe. And I am, first of all, Bessie Richards. And I am Major's former youth choir and children's directress. And I just want to say that I'm just so proud of him and everything that he has become. I saw so many things in Markel. I didn't see Broadway, but I did see Broadway potential. And he was one of those students of mine who considered himself really not liking anything that I gave him solo-wise. As a matter of fact, everything was too high. It did not matter what I said. I said, Markel, I want you to sing this. And he was like, yes, Miss Bessie. And then I would later hear from his mama that everything that he got from me was too high. And he hated all of the songs that I gave him. And it did not matter because I knew that he could do it. He didn't feel like he could, but I knew that he could. I told him, these low notes that you are singing, they are so beautiful. But they don't need to be sung here. Here in church. If you're going to go to the mountain, you're going to have to lift things up a little bit higher. And I'm so grateful and thankful that he did. He did not get to where he was complacent about anything. He was just an humble servant. And I believe that is just the way that you go when you are trying to perform. You cannot say, I can't do it. There's no such word as can't. My mom says it takes 2 words to make cake. So you have to say, I can. And I will. And that's where he started. He did it in Como First Missionary Baptist Church Youth and Young Adult and Children Choir. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Trinell Parrish Brown. That's what I am. Y'all hear all that noise? I am actually doing dual duty today. I am at work. I stay working and I brought my boys here today from Hope Farm. I wanted them to come today so they can see that it doesn't matter how small you are, you can achieve it if you believe it. I was just starting my career in the arts. I actually am a fine artist. I don't just stick to one. I actually act, direct, produce, and I do a little dance. I haven't danced in a while, but I do a little dance, and I was just starting when I first came to Como about 20 years ago. And the first thing that I saw at Como First Baptist was Major Markel Attaway. And I said, I have to be a part of that. How do I get a part of that? And so I like the art so much that I was like, okay, they're already doing plays. Let me just go on and join the church. And and see what I can do. But God had other plans. And actually, I was at the church for about 6 months. And Pastor Keyton Jones Jr., let me shout out to my pastor. Pastor Jones actually allowed me to be the director of fine arts in the year of 2001. So I've been at the church for about 6 months, and we started doing that. Major was in one of my first productions there at the church. We started fine arts about 20 years ago, and he has been going ever since. He was actually going before that. Of course, I saw him doing that, and I don't even know if he knows that. He's one of the reasons why we started the fine arts ministry at Como. It's because he was there, and I saw him, and I said, we have all this talent, let's just use it. And we're going to use it to the glory and honor of God, is what we're going to do. And he did, and everything that I asked Major to do, anything that I asked Major to do, he was always, yes, Miss Trinell, I'll do it. And he just went on from the top from there. So I actually thank Major for, his inspiration on a lot of things in my life. He actually sung in my wedding, and that was one of the best days of my life. And he just really sung, and I was really crying. So that's a little bit about how we started, and faith is important. Faith is important, and God is important, and that's one of the places where he started, and one of the places where he just got all his shine. I'm sure he thanks his church. I do, and I thank him, and I thank Major, and I want to tell all young people, again, it doesn't matter how old you are, if you have it, use it. Keep using it, keep going, keep excelling,
and keep doing what it is that you think that you have a gift in. All right, thank you so much.
I believe it. I'm gonna try it. If I believe it. Oh, you guys already kind of have something. Okay, I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. And sometimes you have to do that and like you gotta try it again. All right, here we go. If I believe it, I believe it. I can be it. I work towards it. I can do it. So y'all will be ready the next time? Okay. I just want to finish it. All right. So wonderful. Okay. So we found out his journey has taken him. He's recorded. He's been in church, fine arts ministry. He inspired the ministry. And I have to say that I'm actually a part of that ministry as we speak right now. All right. Yeah. It's a beautiful ministry. Yes. Tons of children are a part of it now. Quite a few. Praise dancing, miming. There was a step team that I know Major was a part of. So, yeah, the brothers got moves. Okay? So there were some great things that I don't know if Major knows, but he inspired it. And it really is a deal. I'm telling you it is. All right. So we have heard something that's really important. And I hope you guys are catching it. That if you start believing here, you can make it happen. Okay? And Major was like the little boy in the story at the beginning. He was a little boy with a dream and he saw something that he wanted. And he's been working towards it. And now we see him living it and being it. And that's amazing because he was just like you out there. He was small and young and full of energy, but he also had eyes and he had a mind and a heart for what he wanted to do. So something that the young Ian Lofton sang when he sang, "I just can't wait to be king," it was so wonderful that he chose that song because that was from what movie again? Lion King. That's right, from the Lion King, Disney's Lion King. And that happened to be the very first Broadway show that Major got to see coming up. Isn't that pretty cool, huh? Wonderful. Fun fact, just wanted to share that with you. Okay, so at 11 years old, sitting in that theater is where he decided that that's what he wanted to do with his life. So as you know, kids, he actually works in the same theater, the New Amsterdam, where he first saw the Lion King. That's where he works. Wow. So he's in that crazy. He sat in the theater, watched the show, and it ends up that in the future he goes back to that theater, but not to go watch the show, but to be in one of Disney's shows right there. So what is that for a dream? That's amazing. That doesn't happen every day, but when you have it in your heart and you work towards it, you can get there. All right. So let's see. We know that we've talked a little bit about the theater. There are many mentors and stage moms and dads and stage siblings that all played a hand in getting Major to the place where he is today. And most of the theater world in Dallas and Fort Worth remember him first as a Casa Kid at Casa Manana. So two of the amazing directors that he worked with not only have these fond memories of him, but they wanted to share through videos, since they could not be here today, from Fort Worth to Dallas to New York and back. Okay, these directors have experience spanning over half a century. Say half a century. Yes, now how long is half a century? Oh, they're quick over here. What school is this? Hope Farm. Everybody give it up for Hope Farm. Wonderful. Keep on it with those academics. So 50 years of experience. So we're going to watch these clips here, and we'll get to see just a little glimpse of his theater time.
Hi Major, it's BJ. I am backstage at Casa Manana in the green room, and I am so so excited that I get to have this moment with you and all of those people watching to tell you how amazingly proud I am of you and totally not surprised by all of your success. I remember over just 3 years ago, you texted me on the phone and saying, as soon as you get out of the play, call me, because I was in New York, and I did, and you said, I'm the new genie in Aladdin, and I went, oh my God! And then you said, you can't tell anybody, and I was like, oh my God! So I'm so glad Disney discovered you, but we knew you first. From the little boy with the big voice to the big boy with the big personality, only great things were going to happen for you. I love you. I'm so glad you're just Major and you're still our friend, and I cannot wait to see you do this. So check your phone right now because I'm texting you, all right? I'll see you backstage where I am now. I love you, I love you, I love you. I'm so proud.
Davis, and I had the pleasure of teaching, directing, and being friends with Major Attaway and Terri when Major was quite a bit younger at Casa Manana growing up. He was in shows there, in classes, and Casa Kids. And there's a couple of things that I can remember very specifically about Major, and one is that he was always himself. He knew the unique talents that God had given him, and he never tried to be like anybody else. He used the gifts and the talents that he had that were unique to him to entertain, to be creative, to bring something to a group that no one else could. And he's been doing that since he was a very little boy. So if I were saying to someone that's here today that's really wanting to do this for a living or because they're passionate about it, it would be that. Be you, be unique. Don't be somebody else. We already have that person. We need you. And then the other thing I would say is that one of the best things is that Major had such an amazing support in his mom. I mean, Terri from the word go encouraged, was always there, was positive, was loving to Major and to so many others. And so I would also say that. Find your mentor, find the person that's going to support you, push you a little bit, drive you, and be there for you all the time. So I'm so sorry I couldn't be there today. Thank you for letting me say a few memories. And Major and Terri love you tons. And I'm so proud of you, my friend. See you later. Bye.
Right, excellent. So these are the people that make up your village. She basically just said, find your village as you're growing up. So find those people that support you. Speaking of support, we mentioned someone before, and she is here now, and she's able to speak with us briefly. We're going to hear from Toby Jackson, who is the past president of Fort Worth ISD School Board and current representative of District 5, and she's going to tell us a little bit. So let's give her a round of applause.
Good morning. How is everybody? I want to first acknowledge a huge loss that we had on the Fort Worth ISD Board of Trustees, but she's here today, Trustee Christine Moss. Please stand up and let's give her a round of applause. And if you have any questions about the schools today, she's available. I Am Terrell is a wonderful, wonderful, long story, but the short of it is, we were going to build 2 schools. One was going to be a science, technology, engineering, and math school way in far west Fort Worth. One was going to be at Farrington Field, and it was going to be a visual and performing arts center. And the board came together and we decided, let's put them together. And that's why we're here in this beautiful facility. And we are honoring our heritage in Fort Worth, our culture in Fort Worth right now. And it's amazing to me that we have Major Attaway here, who is a legacy student of this great city. And he is here for you all today. And it looks like we've got a pretty full house. So when he comes out, please let's give him a large Fort Worth welcome. And I want to welcome each of you to I Am Terrell and thank you all for being here. And also Brian Bird, Councilman Brian Bird is here. Brian, could you stand up, please? Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you too for being here. Thanks to each of you, and you're in for a special treat today.
All right. Wonderful. Well, throughout the remainder of high school and afterwards, Major continued, notice that word, means keep going, to perform all over Fort Worth and Dallas Metroplex, as you saw, and as you've been hearing. So let's see. Most of you know Major from his performances, maybe if you didn't know in Casa Manana, maybe you didn't know at the church, but you might have seen Major at the Jubilee Theater. Yes. But kids, one thing Major did was an interview with Mr. Rudy Eastman, who was the founder of the theater. He was in 7th grade, completing a school assignment, and he had an opportunity to work with Mr. Eastman. Sheran, Godspeed Keyton is here to tell you more about it, and she will follow with a song.
All right, how y'all doing today? So periodically, after people announce me, I stay backstage for an additional 45 seconds just to build up anticipation. There's something about that quiet nothingness on stage as you sit there and go, who's that? Or I can't wait to see her, or what's happening, and I'm standing back there doing my diabolical laugh. And then I come out here and then you guys appreciate me more. Y'all doing all right today? Great. So my name is Sheran Goodspeed Keyton, for those of you who don't know, and I'm super happy to be here today. Glad to be co-producing this event with Terri Attaway, wherever you are. Terri, where are you? Oh, there you are. So glad to be co-producing this event with Terri Attaway, and glad to be the proud director of this event. Are you all having a good time? Isn't this amazing? So I get to tell my little piece of the story, and it's such a small piece when you think about everything else that has happened in the lifetime of this amazing young man. I had the honor and the privilege of being his teacher at a fine arts camp one summer. And the very first thing I thought when he walked in was, oh, he's such a cute guy. And then he stood on stage and opened his mouth, and the next thing I thought was, holy cow, this show is going to be amazing. Because for those of you who are teachers, you know you walk into summer camp and you expect nothing because you want to be surprised and excited about whatever it is that you get. You get all kinds of kids and they're all talented and do these amazing things. But this kid was different. He was so special. At the time, I had been working at Jubilee Theater as an actor, then a writer, then choreographer for a number of years. And I was about to do a show, and I was like, Major really needs to be in this show. So, and I had been at Jubilee Theater since I was 17 because I sneaked in. I don't think Rudy Eastman really knew how old I was because I've always looked like this, right? And I'm like Major. Major and I have both looked like grown-ups since we were 6 years old. So I went to him, and Daddy, which is what I called him. There's this kid that I taught in a summer camp, and he's continually working. He's doing things at Casa Manana, etc., etc. And I really think he would be great for this show. Immediate no. Not because he was being mean or ugly, but because he had a rule. Really, he didn't work with kids and work with dogs or pets, because they're too unpredictable on stage. Anything can happen. And he was a wonderful, wonderful mentor and a wonderful, wonderful man. And I pressed. And all of a sudden, he said, I'll listen to him. So we didn't have any promises yet. Major walked in with his 16-year-old, but I act as if I'm 37-year-old amazingness. He sang and he blew Rudy Eastman away. There was no other doubt in his mind at that point that this kid was not only going to be in this show, but a lot of other shows after that. And he was. I don't even know how many. Terri, you want to throw that out there? Do we know how many shows?
I don't really know, but later y'all take a look at this beautiful picture that we have that has pictures of all of the shows he's been. I don't know, like 20? I don't know.
I'm going to do my Vanna White.
I don't know.
You're supposed to clap. All right, so I'm going to get down to it. So that picture, that whole collage, is a collage of photos, and the collage was created by Mr. Buddy Myers right here. And for as long as I can remember, he's always been not only the photographer for Jubilee Theater, but also for other theaters and other organizations and other special events in town. So thank you so much for being here, buddy. So I get to move into a song which is not kid-like, and it's not a thing that normally little kids would sing, but it's kind of signature to what and who Major's life represents. So what you see is this kid who is clearly 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, but he has this voice that doesn't fit his age or his look just yet. So then you have people going, you can't sing that, you can't do that. Circles me back around to jazz music. Jazz music and the entire jazz era is filled with, you can't do that, you can't sing that way. The notes are here, 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 here. And jazz musicians go, yeah, you can play that, but I'm gonna sing right? So today, I'm going to sing a little bit, but I'm going to get you all to help me, right? So can we do this? Can you start the music just so they can hear how it goes? There's that. All right. So first thing I need you all to do is snap your fingers like this. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. It don't mean a thing. All you got to do is sing. Makes no difference if it's sweet or hot. Give that rhythm everything you got. Oh, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Okay, so this is where you all get to come in, right? I want this whole section over here to just count to 8 with me, and all you're doing is singing. Here we go. And louder. And good. This whole section over here, I need you to do this. That whole section up there, this is what I want you to do. You're going to be our drums, right? Taka taka, taka ta ta ta, taka taka, taka ta ta ta, taka taka, taka ta ta. I can't hear you. Y'all supposed to be still going. All right, everybody. And it's jazz. Keep going. You don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Now, and every now and then when it starts really getting good to you, you dance like this. Yeah, y'all sound good. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. Clap for yourself. Thank you.
All right, let's give it up, let's give it up, let's give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up. Yeah, that's right. All right, if it don't have a swing, it don't mean a thing. That's what I'm saying. All right, gotta have some fun with it. Have some fun in life. That's right. Okay, so another important thing to remember is to always be flexible and and unafraid to play different parts. Because in life, you're not going to always do the exact same thing. Every day is a different day. Sometimes you have some of the same, but you got some different too. So, I'm just going to tell you, hint, to just kind of take note of some of the things being said, okay? Just for future reference. Okay? So in Peter Pan, at Kids Who Care, Major played the dad. And later, he was Captain Hook as well. So everybody say, "Arg, mateys." All right, make sure you got that hook. And some shows that Major was in they were pretty funny and a lot of fun. And other shows that he was in were a lot more serious, okay? He had his time in Broadway, but we also have everything that he's done building up to that time. So he's been in multiple roles. So think about maybe some shows that you might have seen him in. Like I remember seeing him, aside from at church, and sometimes he was Santa Claus, which was really cool. I mean, I've never met a Santa with a deep, low, and robust voice like his. That's awesome. You know, it's like, what do you want for Christmas? You know, and it's just like, you know, it's amazing. Okay, so he had that voice, but I also remember him as Frosty the Snowman at Casa Manana. Okay? Fun. Oh, man. I mean, if you wanted to go with Frosty on the cartoon, you really wanted to go with Frosty when it was Major Attaway, because that was just the best. You just wanted to jump out of your seat and follow him everywhere. All right, so wonderful. So, right now, we're going to get a chance to see him closer to everything building up to Broadway. Okay, so we're going to check out a few video clips, so I want you to make sure you pay attention.
I'm Major Attaway, and I play the genie in Disney's Aladdin on Broadway. The genie, I'll tell you what he is to me. The genie for me is a catalyst for joy. He's here to grant wishes, but he's also here to teach you life lessons. The genie has a big heart. I would like to say that we are similar in that manner. I'm a much more relaxed person overall than he is. He's a firecracker, if you will, energy-wise. But I would say that is probably the thing that we have in common. That's what continues to connect me to him. Things I need in the dressing room to play the genie. I need my salt lamp, my essential oils. Most of the preparation for me is physical. That helps me get into the headspace of the genie. A tip that I would give future genies: get your cardio up, honey. This show, like most Casey Nicholaw directed productions, moves like a freight train. It is what you expect to see when you think of Broadway glitz and glamour. Make it your own. The genie is big. He's a very big character, and he's one to embrace, not to fear. Believe in the magic. It's real, and if you believe it, they will too. Nerves do exist. They don't stop you from doing anything. I'm a little nervous. I'm always excited because I'm ready to tell the story again. One of my favorite things about the genie is the fact that you get a little taste of him in the beginning, and then there's this dramatic reveal later on.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the place is called Places, Places Forward.
First, we're in the marketplace, and we have a costume that is a little different, and it's big and it's mysterious. And when we move to the genie, it's bam, it's glitz, it's glamour, it's right in your face. It is jewels from top to bottom, and it is gorgeous. When I see the genie, myself in full costume, it's very humbling. It really is. Because you could have told me that I would be doing this 5 years ago and I wouldn't believe you. And now, I can't imagine doing anything else.
Isn't that amazing? Oh my goodness, I love it. So yes, dudes can wear makeup. Those of you that are wearing shine. It's exciting. All right, so now we have someone that we're gonna welcome to the stage, and it's Caleb Barnett. He is someone who has looked up to Major and is excited to pay tribute to him with a song from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This is the moment, but I need you guys to strap your seatbelts in. All right, nice voice on this. Get ready for the ride, because this is the moment. Let's give Caleb Barnett a round of applause.
Like she said, my name is Caleb Barnett. I am a DFW and Oklahoma City-based actor. I'm a sophomore musical theater major at the University of Central Oklahoma. We love that. But I started pursuing musical theater 3 years ago, just very aggressively. I've done things just like Major has at Casa Manana. I've been performing there for the past 4 years. And while I've been there, people have been saying, "Oh, you remind me of Major." And whenever I first started there, I was like, okay, because I didn't know who he was. And so I looked into him, and I became just glued to everything that he does, because there's something so motivating and inspiring by seeing somebody that looks like you doing what you want to do and succeeding in spades. And it was at that moment that I realized, okay, this is what I really want to do. And that's why I'm singing, "This is the moment." See how I put the two together, so that's smart. This is the moment. This is the day when I send all my doubts and demons on their way. Every endeavor I have made ever is coming to play, is here and now today. This is the moment. This is the time when the momentum and the moment are in rhyme. Give me this moment, this precious chance. I'll gather up my past and make some sense at last. This is the moment when all I've done, all of the dreaming and scheming and screaming become one. This is the day. See it sparkle and shine when all I've lived for becomes mine.
you gotta believe it, you gotta see it, you gotta seize it. We started with Ian and we keep working our way up. We've grown up to Caleb. So now it's that place where you gotta decide, what is it? Where do I wanna be? What is the dream that's been implanted in me? So I know that that's what I'm working toward. Let me find my community of people that love and support me. And then I can keep moving, because I know when it gets to be hard times, that I can depend on them to encourage me back to what that dream is, so I can get where I'm trying to get. Y'all don't get me started, I'll start preaching. All right, okay, so wonderful. I will tell you this, Broadway, I've learned, is not all singing and dancing or even rehearsals. And my theater background, I'm thinking, that's what it is, but there's even more to it. Okay, so we're gonna watch and hear how much energy is actually needed to play the genie. And like I said, it's just not all singing and dancing, y'all.
In Disney's hit musical Aladdin, actors on Broadway, on tour, and in companies around the world bring down the house nightly, playing the role of the fast-talking, fun-loving genie.
Hello, everybody!
But in addition to being world-class singers and dancers, to play this role, these actors also have to be exceptional athletes. So to find out what it takes to pull off this performance, the ESPN Sports Science team was granted unprecedented access to a genie on Broadway, Major Attaway. Now when you're performing Friend Like Me, talk to me about how physically demanding it is.
Well, it's probably the best cardio workout I've ever had. It feels like CrossFit, to be honest.
Before a recent sold-out show, we wired up Major with a state-of-the-art sensor called a bioharness. This will help us analyze his physical exertion by measuring his respiratory rate, heart rate, and movements during the performance. Now in his dressing room before the show, Major averages about 14 breaths per minute, and his heart rate sits at about 73 beats per minute. But as he makes his way backstage, our sensors show his heart rate and breathing rate start to climb.
Is your heart starting to race? Definitely. It's definitely starting to climb. You notice that we're about to do something big.
Although he's been performing for years, the anticipation of being in front of 1,700 strangers still causes his body to release adrenaline. This chemical increases oxygen and blood flow to the muscles, and it might be why, at this point, his breathing rate spikes by 10 breaths per minute, and his heart rate reaches 155 beats per minute. But just moments before he climbs into the tube that will lift him up to the stage, he gets his nerves under control using what's called diaphragmatic breathing. This technique increases blood flow back to the heart, and in under 60 seconds, it helps lower his heart rate by 30 beats per minute. Now, Major and the other actors who portray Genie make it look effortless. But every Genie will tell you that this role is a workout.
That's a Broadway workout right there.
All told, during Friend Like Me, our sensors tracked nearly 900 steps. That translates to a distance about the length of 23 NBA basketball courts. Not surprisingly, studies have shown average humans have trouble talking when they're exercising at about 90% of their max heart rate. But incredibly, an expertly trained actor like Major can perform more than half of a Friend Like Me at over 92% of his max. And their average heart rate can still be at more than 80% of their max. That's a greater physical exertion than we'd expect to see from a runner during an actual marathon.
Thank you so much for holding our
Thank you. Thank you very much. Come and get your wishes, Agrabah.
ESPN Sport.
How many steps do you think I'm getting in right now? All right, let's see. Woo! I mean, isn't that amazing? I had no idea. I think that's pretty. Oh, some of you forgot. Let's try it again. I think that's pretty. There you go. I do think that's pretty major. I mean, I'm no Beyonce or anything, but you know, I know she's one that she's got to keep her breath under control and stuff. I don't know. I think our very own Fort Worth Major Attaway could probably get up there and do the same thing. What you think after seeing that, huh? All right, that's what I think. Wonderful. Well, in 2014, Major was fortunate enough to work with a wonderful gentleman named Jim Johnson. And from there, the rest is history. I'll bet we can get Jim to come and tell us a little bit more about this time period in Major's life towards Broadway. All right? Let's give Jim Johnson a round of applause.
Everybody doing okay this morning? Yeah. You know what's coming up in just a minute, right? So I'm not going to waste your time, I promise. I was lucky enough in 2014 to become, well, Major's carpool mate as we both got cast in Hands on a Hard Body at Theater 3 in Dallas. And that story involves a group of people that stand with their hand on a brand new vehicle, hoping that they'll be the one that will be the winner of this contest. And as luck would have it, Major played Ronald, who ate too many Snickers on the first day. And he was out. He was the first person out. And I remember intermission, my mother said something to me after the show, after she came to see it. She said, yeah, there were a lot of people out there that were disappointed that Major was the first person out of this competition because he did have the best voice in the musical. But luckily, he came back in the second act, and people were redeemed for making that drive to Dallas. And the rest was history from there. From there also, we met Doug Wright, who was a playwright for Hands on a Hard Body. He happened to be there at the show on the opening night. And as you know, Doug also penned the book for The Little Mermaid, another great Disney classic. And Major got to meet him. He was blown away by Major. And Major told him about his dream of playing the genie in Aladdin on Broadway. And Doug said, well, you know, I know some people from Disney. So, of course, he put in a word for Major. Major went on to be in another show there at Theater 3 where he perfected his high kick. And went on to Dallas Theater Center with a wonderful run of Stagger Lady. Went up to New York and auditioned. And, of course, Doug came through on his promise that he would talk to the Disney people. And as you know today, the rest is history. You know, I'm really fortunate to have Major as a friend, and I can say to everybody out there, how many of you guys want to be like Major one day and be in Broadway musicals? Can I see? Because I'm telling you right now, it can happen. I mean, there's a guy from Fort Worth just standing off stage over here, waiting to entertain you guys. That is proof that you can do that. I've been an actor for 35 years now, and doing voice work and singing and on stage in front of the camera. And I can tell you, it's a great life. Success can be measured in many different ways, as you see the wonderful success that Major's had. But listen, everything you do is a little bit more. You stay in there, you're persistent, you have a passion, and you have a joy. And I think that's what Major really brings to audiences when he performs. So, we've heard a lot about the man of the hour. Are you ready to hear from Major himself? He's already visited 7 cities on a North American tour. He's currently in Dallas. He heads to Houston, Washington, D.C., and then right back up to the good old Big Apple, New York City. Let's welcome to the stage Fort Worth native and one of the best musical performers ever, Major Attaway.
Let's start it over. How y'all doing? Wow, wow, wow. Oh my. some tales. But master, you're in luck, cause up your sleeve you got a brand of magic never fails. You got some power in your corner now, some heavy ammunition in your camp. You got some punch, pizzazz, you're in the house, see all you gotta do is rub that lamp and I'll say, Mr. Aladdin, sir, what will your pleasure be? Let me take your order, jot it down, you ain't never had a friend like me, no. Life is your restaurant, and I'm your maitre d'. Come on, whisper it easy, won't you? Ain't never had a friend like me. Yes, sir, we pride ourselves on service. So you're the boss, the king, the shit. Say what you wish is yours. True dish, about a little more broccoli, more. Have some of column A, try all of column B. I'm in the mood to help you do. They ain't never had a friend like me. Nobody tell it to you. Oh my, oh no. So don't just sit there, slack your buggy out of here. That's all your midday prayers. You got me old as he is certified. You got a genie for your child, your pal. I got a pal of the words. Help you out. What you really wanna know? You gotta listen to scream out long and know that. But all you gotta do is run like so. Give me a doggy bag, I'm taking it home. Mr. Learning to have a wish or two or three. I'm on the job, you pick me up. You ain't never had a friend, never had a friend. You ain't never had a friend, never had a friend. You ain't never had a friend like me. Never had a friend like me.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing? Now, really, I was told I was supposed to sing Mother, What You Want Me to Do Up Here? Guys, I'm so excited to be here. I'm home. Hey, everybody. I can't remember the last time I've seen this many familiar faces in a theater, and it's just beautiful. Hey, how you doing? Hey, sis. Oh, are there pictures? What is this?
Little soldiers.
Do you want me to talk to the slideshow? Because I'm here.
You can keep talking. We want to.
Oh, is it time for us to start the Q&A?
Yes.
Can I go get my chair?
AJ is still in control, huh?
One last thing, real quick. First of all, wasn't that awesome?
Thank you.
Major, to you, we have some things we want to say.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. We sure hope that you can feel the love tonight. Those of you Disney fans, you caught the joke, right? Okay. All right. Well, and I hope you do. We're so thankful for you taking the time to share your journey with all of us here, children and adults alike, because we're all dreamers. Isn't that right? Okay. So thank you to everyone for your support, for coming out, telling your friends, your family, your students, your teachers, your village, for bringing them here today. To our parents, our teachers, and friends, we should all be able to stay to, we're going to have a brief question and answer period. And we've got just a couple little announcements. And these are for things that are coming up in the Fort Worth area that your children, your students can be a part of. Okay, so we want you to make note of that while you think of those questions, okay? Because like I said, we're going to just take a few. And then we have to let this wonderful man here be able to get some rest because he has to make some more genie magic for tomorrow, okay? So one of the, and most of this information is going to be out on the table in the lobby. So make sure that you get some information or take pictures of it. You can always call, you can email Ms. Sheran, myself. There's a few others out there, okay, that you might want to take part in. There is the first annual Opal Lee Hoop Tea Classic. Everybody say hoop. All right, that's June 15th and 16th. Okay, it's for 3rd to 8th graders, and this will be at O.D. Wyatt High School on Seminary Drive. Okay, so make sure you check that out. If you play basketball, this is for you. If you're interested, that is for you. Okay? Also, Juneteenth, Fort Worth, educate, empower, and entertain, because that's what we do. Okay? And that will be at Tarrant County College campus, June 8th through the 18th. So if you check that out at TCC, you will have all the events are listed on the back. There's some pictures there, and it lets you know, just to give you an idea, you've got everything from the Juneteenth pageant to workshops on your voice, cheerleading competitions, bodybuilding preliminaries. You're leaving that? There you go. Okay, you got that one. Let me try that one. Maybe I'll do the barbecue cook-off. Is that okay, Major?
Yeah.
I'll do that one. Okay. So there's some good things. There's food, folks, fun, entertainment, education. All of that's happening Juneteenth. So that's coming up, the 8th through the 18th. We have a gentleman here. He can make an announcement. Mr. Nixon, let's give him a round of applause.
All right, listen. My announcement, I want everyone in here to sing happy birthday to me. Today's my birthday. All right, are you ready? Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Nixon. Happy birthday to you. Yes.
All right, listen, we're excited about Major. We're full proud. Listen, July the 22nd to the 25th, we will have our 10th annual music camp. We're celebrating 2 years of our free summer music camp. And it's going to be right here at Terri in the old building. And so listen, we will have an opportunity to get rid of your kids for about 5 hours. And we will teach them how to play the piano or keyboard. They will learn how to read music. We will have a singing class. We will have a dance class. And one of the classes that we're really excited about is our music and math class. And so listen, when you leave the program today, I will be sitting outside at a table with flyers and registration forms. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Excellent. And you said that was a free? That was free? Free. Everybody say free. Free. Now, one thing about free sometimes you go, oh, okay, this is free, I want it. But when it's free and it's amazing like that, you want to take part of. So make sure that you check that table out. Another one, Miss Sheran wanted to make sure that you know Opera Fanatics is coming up, and I believe that's in about a week or so, June 17th through 28th. Okay, if you haven't taken your phones out to put them on the calendar, go ahead and do that. It's going to be right here. Professional teachers, directed by Sheran. And then we also have Tarrant County Harambe Festival is going to be coming up. So all of that information should be out there. Make sure that you check it out. I can't say that enough. Myself, for LACA Inc., which stands for Linking Across Cultures and Ages, I do baby sign language workshops for families, toddlers, preschoolers, and their parents or caregivers, but also do storytelling. So I have those kinds of things coming up in the summer as well. So please check out my table, sign on the email list, you can get more information. And we are not going to take up any more time because we want to make sure while we have such a major. I'm sorry, this gets me excited each time. Okay, good, I'm glad he likes it. Okay, so since we have such a major star here in front of us because he's our star, okay? We want to make sure we take this time to ask some questions that we might not have had a chance to get from the video clips or from those that spoke in the community. And so if you have one of those questions, questions. See, did I end up with my mic, man? You've got the mic? Okay, wonderful. Miss Jennifer has the mic. Wave your hand, Miss Jennifer. Okay, we're only going to take a few questions. Please, parents, if your child has a question, I want you to make sure they ask you first so you can understand it's clear and kind of know what that question is to help them ask that question, okay? And she'll bring the mic over, all right? And then I'll have some questions. I think Major and I might have some questions for you, and we'll see what we can do if you get the right answer. All right? So one of those questions, I know we did have one from a certain Chesta Shelton somewhere out there. Wave your hand, Miss Chesta. Maybe you can start us off. There we go.
Hello, my name is Chesta Shelton, and I'm 8.5 years old. I'm glad you guys all came out today, and I'm happy that I'm proud of you, Major, for doing some great things to our community. Now some questions for you that I didn't get the chance from the video clubs that I either didn't understand or hasn't been considered at all. What part of Broadway made it become, no.
You got it.
Who even taught you about Broadway anyway?
The question is, who taught me about Broadway anyway? That's a good question. I think I started singing early in life, and so I actually, it honestly may be China Wright, who I could say led me to Casa Manana early on from Como First Missionary Baptist. So I guess that's not a direct answer, but the answer is that's where I first got heavy into the theater and then learned later what Broadway was and what the capacity and the love for that across the world is. And so I would say that's when it started, because when I first walked into Casa Manana is when I first got my glimpse or an idea of what Broadway could be. Yes. Thank you for your question. Am I picking? No, you picked. Okay.
There we go. There's one up here. Right about the 5th row. Yep, keep your hand up, stand up. There we go. Now she can see you a little better.
About how long did the audition process take when you were auditioning for the Genie?
That's one question. It's different for everyone, but mine was relatively quick. I think Jim told the first part of the story where I was sent the audition pack information in the mail, and I filmed myself on tape and sent it to Disney, and they called me back in like an hour. I would do your add what they call back, which is can you hear me? Am I going in and out really good? Yeah, I can feel that. I can feel it good. So a week after that, I was in New York for final callbacks, where it's another round between the directors, producers, and things like that. So honestly, technically it took a week, but it took a lifetime as well. So it's not really.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. It's a great question. Yeah.
Excellent. We have one I'm seeing back here with the striped shirt. Yes. So keep your hand up so she can see where you are. There we go. These are great questions.
What's your favorite thing about doing 8 shows a week?
You weren't supposed to remind him this is his time off. Oh my gosh.
Oh, is Disney here? They always are. My favorite thing about doing 8 shows a week is that I get to do 8 more a week.
Major, I'm going to sneak in on that one?
Please do.
Is it because you're just doing something, or is it you're doing something you love? And can you speak to that?
Of course. Yeah, the truth of the answer is to be employed is the greatest possible thing. As an actor, life in general is hard enough. So to be able to call myself an actor and say that's how I keep my lights on is the coolest thing I could ever imagine, to be honest. But there's also, I really do love the challenge of it, to do 8 shows in a week, and this coming week in Dallas we'll be doing 9 shows because of how we got into the city. So we'll be doing 3 2-show days in the next 7 days. But the challenge of it is, recreating that same energy every time, because life has, it brings whatever it has to for the day, whether it's the weather, whether it's your energy, whether you're a little ill or something like that. But yeah, it's all about the challenge of really doing it is what I love the most, because I could be doing something or nothing, and I'm glad that this is the something that I spend my time doing.
That's right. Excellent. Okay, we're gonna go to the young gentleman in the back in the black t-shirt. Can you come a little, well, she might be able to get right back there, or you can meet her there. And then I might have a question for you coming up. So I hope you were paying attention and listening, because we might have a question for you. Adults, you may ask questions as well. Okay, are you ready, sir? All right.
How long do you practice?
That's a good question. Because I do so many shows a week, the practice is partially the repetitiveness of doing the show over and over again, but we do have rehearsals. With our particular show, we have to bring in new people. If people get sick or injured, or if they go on vacation or something like that, there's always someone else to come in. And so I will rehearse whenever there's a new character that I have to interact with on stage. But overall, we do the show so often that the rehearsals are mainly for the in-between moments. So if there's something that we have to fix or things like that, and you do the show so many times that if it gets a little stale or rusty, whatever the word you want to choose, you go back and refresh your notes, go back to your script, and go back to things like that, so that you can bring the energy back to what it's supposed to be in the director's vision from the beginning. I hope I answered your question.
All right, I'm seeing a lot. There's a young lady over here in the center section, and she's got a beautiful smile. Yes, there she is. We can go to her next. I do have a question that we can be thinking of, and if you believe that you have the correct answer, then you will be able to let me know, and then we might have a little something for you. Okay? All right, yes ma'am.
Hi, I wanted to know, when did you know that this is what you wanted to do for the rest of your life? Like, was it a show or a song that you sang, and you were like, yes, this is exactly what I want to do?
Yeah, yes, actually. It was when I saw The Lion King in New York. I'm working now in the same theater that I saw that show in, the New Amsterdam. And I still remember the seat that I sat in at that age. So I look at it every time I do the show in that theater. Whoever's in that chair gets a little extra love, whether they like it or not. Yes, just like that. And yeah, I sat in the 9th row on the aisle. So technically that was the day, because I enjoyed singing. I enjoyed being a storyteller and all the different versions of it. But the all-encompassing moment of seeing a stage full of black folk, singing them sing their faces off, and then half of them are dressed as animals, I'm in. So, I love it. You're welcome, thank you.
I love it, wonderful. Here is my first question for you out there. If you were listening real close to the video, when he goes out on stage on Broadway, there are up to a certain number of audience members. If you believe saw that hand real fast. Right there in the, you might have to help me, Major, next time on this, on how quick these hands are.
Yes.
This one's standing right here. Yes.
1,702.
She's correct. That's right. Does that mean she gets one of these things?
Yes. We have something for you.
There you go. There's the lamp.
Wonderful.
Look, all the magic lamps are bigger than they look.
The original Disney genie's lamp.
That's it. And you know, the size is deceptive. You know, I live in a lamp, but I got a whole like a pool, tennis court, and all that stuff in there. So, enjoy.
All right, let's see. I think we have another question. That's excellent. Okay, on this one. How many, you can't have your hands up. I thought I saw a hand up. You can't have them up here. Okay, how many steps per show did they calculate for Major? Oh, Major, you gotta take this time. It's so bad.
And technically, it's how many steps per Friend Like Me performance.
Yes.
So it's only that song. But, I wasn't ready. I was looking down.
Okay, should I add a curveball on it? And then you can see, should I add a curveball?
Yes, do the
Yes,
curveball.
okay.
They
So
need a
hands
challenge.
down. This is the curveball because this was in the same sentence. Okay? You have the number of steps in that show and it equaled this number of basketball courts.
Yeah, Gimpy. Look at her arms.
Equal 23 basketball courts.
Right, but what's the first part of the question? How many steps?
188 steps.
She got it.
188 steps.
That's it.
All right. All right. All right.
Oh.
You're delivering? Okay. And just so you know, this is Dad right here. Let's give a round of applause for Dad. He's the first Major Attaway.
No. We got to work that.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm the original.
And I'm the upgrade.
Since we've got the family going on here, it wouldn't be right if we didn't let who
Where's Mom?
also come on stage.
Come on, Mom.
Everybody say, come on, Mom. Wonderful. So this is Mrs. Terri Attaway. This is Major's mom. And she's also the main reason you're here today. She brought them together. Okay, so you know a mom's love just goes and goes and goes. She said even though he's got other things he's got to do, we're gonna have you here today. So that's what's going on. So you want to make sure we support and love because that's the beginning of your village at home is your parents. And look, they've been with him every step of the way. So let's give them one more round of applause. So let's all right, this one should be a nice prize, Major. Real nice prize. They're all nice, but this one I need to know 2 shows that Major Attaway has performed in. I feel like a gentleman like this, and they're in the gray. Yeah, I saw his hand real fast. Okay, can you stand up? There we go. I believe it's this gentleman here. What is your answer? 2 shows. Can you count
No.
that?
No, you can't count that.
2 easy.
Well, Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah.
Frosty the Snowman and Peter Pan.
Dig it.
We need somebody else who knows 2 other shows Major Attaway has been in. Oh gosh, don't count this Terri. Okay, go for it. Over in this section? Okay. she's already, yes, she asked a question. So, are we going right here with any of the kids, or? Okay, here we go. Right here, sitting, black shirt, glasses. Yes, stand up, stand up. Yes. 2 other shows Major Attaway has been a part of.
The Wiz and the Little Shop of Fools.
Hey.
Oh, all right. You guys have to verify. Come on up, because we have something for you. I'm going to ask the young lady that was on that row, because that's where we were looking. Do you have 2 other shows that Major has also performed in? Yes, you. Yes. You have 2 more? Go ahead and share them with us.
Les Mis and Hands on a Hardball.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Excellent. Yes, Les Mis is amazing. Yes. Come this way. We do have something for you. Okay. All right. We are on, and real quick, let's see. Major, I know you still have more shows that you've been in, so I'm going to go with this gentleman over here in the red. Do you know 2 other shows that Major Attaway has performed in?
Blues and the Odyssey.
Come on now. Yes. Those are Jubilee. Come on now.
Wonderful.
Jubilee originals.
Okay, let's see. Anyone else in this section? Yes, sir. In the green shirt. I see you. You're still looking. It's you. The one that's going like this. That's you.
Ain't Misbehaving and Susical the Musical.
We'll say it again.
Ain't Misbehaving and Susical the Musical.
What's the first one? I'm sorry.
Ain't Misbehaving.
Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah. He's got it. That's correct.
That's excellent. Give him a round of applause. Wonderful. Let's see. Have we come in? Do we have some? Okay. All right. Do we have another question? I know there were a couple other people that had questions. Yes. Clear over here. Yes, please stand up. Wonderful.
First, I want to thank you so much for taking time to come out and do this. I'm a theater teacher. Any theater teachers in the house? Educators, can y'all wait for me here? Stand up. Stand up, theater educators. Y'all know we work hard. Does is why we do what we do, and I just wanted to thank you as a theater educator on behalf of the rest of us for what you do and for coming and sharing yourself with the young people today. Just thank you and much love to you.
Thank you.
I'll see you on stage.
Yes, ma'am. Come and get your riches. See, I'm drinking Pedialyte, kids. You gotta stay healthy. Superior hydration.
Yeah, do you have one you want to pick out for a question? Major or?
Oh, yes, go ahead. Yes.
Yes, in the cap?
Hi.
Hi.
First off, and how long does it take to put on makeup, and do you like getting all glammed up before the show?
I mean, who don't love a good beat, you know? But it doesn't take as long as I think it seems. And because it's in pieces, I can never really keep track of how many minutes exactly. But I show up to the theater an hour before the show starts, and I have to do the first few layers of my own makeup, which is very basic because I don't know what I'm doing. So I do a base and I do some gold, and then the makeup artist comes in. They do the first layer of makeup, which is different from the beginning of the show.
And then after I do Arabian Nights, I go backstage, change costumes, and then get more makeup on. And the trick is, every time I leave the stage, they put more glitter on my head. So then it always looks like the same amount, whether I sweat it off or not. So that's a little Disney secret.
That's a good one. All right, let's see. We need to find out who has traveled the furthest to get here today. So if you're from Fort Worth, I don't want to hurry. Okay? I don't want to hurry. Okay? Fort Worth, that's not going to work. Okay? So it's got to be further than that. Yes, sir. You did that today?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
I don't know that anybody can top Cincinnati, Ohio. Is there anybody in here that can? Yes. Where did you come from today, though? Mesquite. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Royce City.
Yeah, right. That's far. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Anyone else? We've got Royce City and Mesquite. Anyone further than that? All right. Okay, I believe so. But today. All right, then you're going to need to make your way on up. We do have something very special for you. Let's give them a round of applause. The mic is ready.
Hi, we're just about done. I want to take mom privileges and okay, can you hear me? Okay, louder. I want to take just a privilege today to introduce a young lady major that, yes,
Mike is coming? Okay, thank you. That was a part of Fort Worth Metropolitan Black Chamber's film workshop. They've been doing this for over 25, 26 years now. Major was a big part of that each year, and so this lady weirded out when she came because she thought Major was going to be there in February. She got me and Dad instead. But I'm glad to see that she is here from Garland with her mom, and I just wanted you to say something to Major.
Hello, my name is Liberty Hayes. I'm 15 years old and an inspiring actress for film, TV, Broadway, musical theater. Doesn't matter, as long as I make it. But last summer, I actually took a trip to New York for my birthday, and that's where I saw the Broadway show Aladdin, where I saw Major. I'm telling you, I was geeked. I was like, oh my gosh, it's I actually brought my playbill, from the show where I went to see you, and I just want to say to you, you were absolutely, outstandingly, breathtakingly amazing.
Thank you very much. I'll sign it if you like.
I love your performance, truly.
Wonderful. All right, wonderful. This is when you go after your dream, you inspire others, and this is an example of that. So just keep in mind, wherever you're wanting to go, whether it's in the arts or not, whatever it is that your dream is, you gotta go after it. Do we have a few more? Because we are gonna wrap it up. We got people gotta get back to their different things. This is beautiful. Okay. Okay.
My next show needs to be a role that's written for me. That's it. That's the dream, right? The dream is really to have someone say, we've seen what you can do, now let's see what else you can do.
Maybe that.
That's it. Put it out there.
Hi, I have a question. So how much free time do you get?
What is free time? Let's see. We do 8 shows a week, and I get 1 day off a week. So you have to try and live a full life, and whatever 12 hours is left over after you slept in. So, I mean, but okay. All jokes aside, I feel like time is the only thing that is really of any value. So my free time it's fine when that's not always as much as I would like to have, because I remember what it's like to have too much of it. So I'm okay with that.
Okay, yes ma'am, right here.
I got you. Yeah.
One quick question is, you obviously take care of your physical health, but just given what we've been seeing in recent years with celebrities and their not obvious mental health or emotional health, what do you do for self-care?
I really, really appreciate this question. It's already something. Of course, I will reiterate for you. It was a question on mental health and being an actor and what we've seen in the past few years in the country and all of that. I think it's a great question. One, it's already something we don't talk about enough in our own community. So I'll start there. But personally, this particular character is also something that keeps that at the forefront of my mind. Because, not to be too heavy, but just to be honest, there's a certain kind of energy that comes after a performance when someone says, you would make Robin Williams proud. First, the energy is, I understand that's a way to say I've enjoyed your performance, or thank you for what we've done today. But, if you didn't know Robin Williams personally, that can quickly lead my honest energy back to the idea of who he was and what the fact that I'm immediately connected to him through people's love for this. That says something to my psyche, to pay attention to those types of things. So that's the beginning of that answer, but the rest is I'm learning more about what I've learned about my physical health has changed my mental health as well for the better. And I've also engaged in many more things to help myself with that. I'm a large guy, but I'm very flexible, so I do a lot of yoga and things like that. Getting into meditation, and you still have your faith and all of that as well. But outside of if you're not in that moment with someone that is in complete agreement with what you believe, then you have to find other ways to balance that out. And so I really, really do appreciate that question, because it is something that is always, I'm always aware of. I'm constantly aware of. So, yeah. Of course.
So, is there something that your parents know, somebody that's really close to you, that they would pick up on, something not quite?
Well, I feel like that's a relative question for anybody, to be honest. For someone to be able to know that there's something wrong, honestly, I would hope that I would know that there's something wrong, but that's not always how, it reveals itself. So I would say, yes, I do have people that, when I talk to, can sense my energy and things like that. But that's also something that I'm working on letting out myself. I spent some time, I spent so much time trying to be an actor that there were days that I had to step back and get to know Major again. If you spend too much time trying to think someone else's thoughts, it's like, well, who am I to begin with? And I needed to have I needed a well-rounded life so that I could present well-rounded characters and things like that. So it's all of that has been revealed even more so playing the genie, because the genie, you come to see the genie whether or not it's Major Attaway in the character, and you have all these expectations and things for what your 3 wishes would be or what the magic should be in your mind. And so in doing all of that, I've connected with the power that this character carries with him. And so that makes me, because he's still technically the genie's still a slave, you know, he still lives in this lamp and he can only do what this one person has to do. So that has also changed how how I look at myself as an actor and all these things, and how that character affects my idea of what this business is and all of that. So, yeah. I mean, I'll take it. If like we keep that up and they'll put my name above the title, that'll be great, man. So yeah, thank you so much for that, because it's not always something I talk about, but it's something I'm always thinking about. So I'm happy to share it.
Their dream, if it's in the arts or some of the other things that we have going on, continue to be that village, and I'm going to let Ms. Attaway close us out.
Thank you so much. I want to thank you, my beautiful son. I love you so much for taking this time. He has 2 days off while he's in Dallas. He said, Mom, you taking both my days? I said, yep. So I want to make a couple of announcements as we leave, because it is noon and we promised that we would be done. All right. Going to the show and other major sightings while he's here in Dallas. First of all, I would love to see every single one of you go to the show. We have passed out some, do we have any? But there's a little purple card that you received. That is straight from Disney in New York, who's offered us tickets at a discount, okay? You go to Ticketmaster and you will be able to put in the coupon code, which is MAJOR in all caps. You can get tickets, guys, as low as $35. They're in balcony, but guess what? I had friends here that went just last night and they said they could see perfectly fine. So please get together, do groups, get the kids there. I mean, you need to see it, right? You already know. The other thing I wanted to tell you, I'll announce for Jubilee Theater is doing a fundraising concert, and MAJOR and friends will be there. It will be MAJOR and Miss Sheran Keyton. This is on June 17th, and one more guy. So June 17th for Jubilee, go to jubileetheater.org for that. If you'd like to attend that. I'm trying to think, was there anything else? We've had some playbills, there's some little stickers, and maybe a couple other things you can pick up on your way out. But I want to give a hand clap to Disney for allowing MAJOR to sing Friend Like Me here. What I understand is they don't do that, right? I'm so grateful to this organization. I don't know what to do. They love them some MAJOR, probably almost as much as me, I think. So that's great. Other thing is, be watching on TV. MAJOR will be, I believe, on Channel 8 maybe tomorrow and Wednesday. So just keep your DVRs or whatever going. Yes, Wednesday. Okay, so they'll be doing an interview from the stage in Dallas. Channel 5 was here today too, so there may be some stuff coming on from them too. And my last thing as we leave, I want to just say hi and thank a few special people that are here today. I see Blake Mormon. Alex Jimenez was here. I saw him. I don't know if he's still here. Oh, there you are. Okay, so I am chairman of the board of Housing Solutions. MAJOR sang a lot for Housing Solutions while he was here. You going? Bye. Okay, love you. Bye. Our current president was here, Mary Margaret Lemons. They helped make this happen today. Glenn Nixon, Toby Jackson, who you heard from, Principal Brown. Just want to thank you, my teachers, Ms. Worthington and Ms. Penland from Tech and Western Hills. I don't know if I see Arlington Heights people here, but thank you for all of you. I know y'all are here somewhere. Hope Farm, all of you people. Thank you so much. This was a dream of mine, just to honor MAJOR for all the work he's done. He's worked for 20 years doing this, and I know many of you have seen so much of what he's done. So that is it. I just want to thank you again for coming. We appreciate you so much. Go see Aladdin.